Morning. Let me get my video working here. Sorry about that. Good morning. We're talking today about uh, how to find new opportunities using industry gap analysis. And let me see if I can bring up my whiteboard here for you in 1 second, and I'll show this to you. How are you? It's a happy new year. It's a great time to be promoting products in January. It's like one of my favorite times. People are in a let me get my video up here. People are in a positive mood. They're ready to buy. So I use a thing that's called gap analysis. And I want to show this to you here if I can on my little whiteboard. Let me see if I can get it up here for you. All right. It's coming right up. Boom, 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 boom. Should be. Okay, there we go. All right, let's bring up our blackboard or our whiteboard. We'll bring up the whiteboard. And let's see if I can get a pen up here for you. Hopefully you can see this all right. Let me just double check our view here and make sure you're able to see this. Let me exit here. All right. Yeah, we're looking good. All right. Go back to the whiteboard. We got our pen. All right. And let's do the red color. So here's what we've got. We call this ABC gap analysis. A is the current state. B is the future state that you want to make happen. And then this is called the gap here. And it's your job to fill the gap between the current state and the future state. So this is called ABC gap analysis. Now, so here's how it works is you look at either an industry as a whole, or let's just take a product category. So like let's just take the state right now of product creation is easy, but selling products is hard because there's so many products out there now. Now, state B would be selling products is easy, right? That would be state B. And so let me erase this part. All right. And so we've got our gap here where you can make products super easy, teachable, thinkific, everything. ClickFunnels, Kajabi, they all make it easy, right? Even now, Learn and ThriveCart makes it easy. The gap here, this is called the gap, is that anyone can create products. There's a proliferation of products now, but selling products is hard because there's so many of them, right? So the future state that you want to get to is selling products is easy. This is the gap. So your job as a marketer is to create the bridge that takes people from the current state A to the future state B using your product solution, which is C. Now, this is just one example of a possible industry, of a possible gap. Now, you can do gaps by product category, or you can do the gap of a whole entire industry. Like if I were to do the gap of our whole entire industry, it would look like this. Point A is you've got these big tickets are being sold, like everybody and their dog is selling big tickets with like phone call DMs or phone calls, right? Everybody's doing it. Now over here, and they're selling, and the weird thing is they're selling like the same thing, right? So over here on point B, the future state might be that they're selling different things. Now you get to make up the future state. That's that's in your imagination. I'm just giving you an example here. So if this was your point B, your future state, then your job is to create this bridge, which would be new things they could sell, right? New big tickets, right? So that would be an example, excuse me, of an entire industry gap. So whatever you're selling, whoever you're selling it to, all you do is you map out your point A, your current state. Point B is the future state. This is the gap. And then your bridge is point C. That's your offer. That's your offer that's going to bridge between point A and point B. Now, I'm going to give you an example of this. Microsoft started out, and the current state was that the computers were underpowered, and there wasn't a lot of software, right? And their point B was to have a computer in every home. But they weren't a hardware company. They were just a software company, so they could only solve the software part, right? But what they did was they came in here and they bridged the gap with tons of software, and they helped facilitate really cheap hardware so that it was able to bridge the gap between A and B with their C solution. That's just one example, right? And by the way, when they did that, over here, computers were costly, because of Macs. And then when they came over here to point B, they made them cheap, right? They vastly lowered the price of them. Now, Mac computers really came along later and kind of did the opposite of this, because they came along and said point A, computers were difficult, right? And then their future reality state was that they would be easy. And so they created, this Mac version with software, iOS, right? That was easy peasy breezy. And they bridged this gap. And so people were willing to pay a premium for this nice, elegant, easy to use computer system, right? So this is what we call gap analysis. And you can look at I'll go ahead and close this out. You can look at whatever you sell, whatever your market is, whatever your audience is, whatever your product category is, and you can map out your A, B's, and C's. So good morning to you. Let me know if you're watching live in chat. This is very powerful, whether you do it for a whole industry, whether you just do it for your product category. You can get as macro with it as you want. You can get as micro with it as you want, right? You can just sit here and say, all right, what I do is I create planners for Etsy, right? I create planners for Etsy. And you can be like, point A is there's lots of planners on Etsy. Your point C might be that there's some kind of a desirable future state of, for example, planners by specific industry or uses, or some type of future state of planners that does not exist now. And your job then would be to bridge the gap very specifically for planners being sold on Etsy. Or the gap might be planners are sold on Etsy, but they're not sold anywhere, hardly anywhere else. And because of that, there's commodity pricing. So your point C might be selling planners through multiple channels at premium prices. And your solution is a solution that allows people to sell planners at premium prices through other multiple and different channels. You see, this is the key to endless products. And not only that, products that fulfill true unmet needs, because your point C future state is an unmet need, right? And so Microsoft found out very early on that the companies that would thrive in industries, um, they would continue over an extended period of time to meet market gaps in the market. Companies that got satiated and didn't continue to fill new market gaps would go away. Right. So this is a key to longevity. I've been doing this since 1997. And there's multiple reasons for that, a lot of reasons for that. But one of the reasons is simply because I've continued to search and try and do my best to seek out industry gaps in a product or industry or product line that I could actually meet, right? Because you have to look at your resources and your ability and your staffing and say, okay, is this a gap that realistically I can do anything about? Because if it's not, then it doesn't do anything for you. So, by the way, if you do not have my report, how I sold 70,000 plus products online, you can go over here to marlonsnews.com/70K, marlonsnews.com/70K. You'll be able to grab a copy of it. Spread the word about this, our YouTube live streams. Let somebody else know. Share the love and invite them. Be sure to hit the bell notification, subscribe to the channel if you want to get notified of my future live streams. My name is Marlon Sanders, and I'm out of here. See you tomorrow.